All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, the Most High God, and Yahweh Shai is the Son of God, which these are the true names of the Most High and His only begotten Son, the Messiah, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, and Lashwan Kodash, which means holy language. Also want to give double honors to the elder apostles, to the elder bishops, to the upcoming elders that rule well at GMS, that teach well, that taught me. I want to give peace and blessings unto the elect, and salute and shalom to the fellow laborers pushing His truth. Rain, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. My name is Zakaria, and the focus of this lesson is biblical prophecy, particularly prophecy that pertain to the last days. You know, that's the focus of a lot of these lessons, ultimately for edification. Because the Lord is putting, His elect through a process of being edified, being built up, and that's being done, through the Spirit. The Lord have set up prophets, teachers, apostles, elders that were freely given His truth, and it became their duty to freely communicate it or distribute what they learned. When it comes to the scriptures, when it comes to the prophecies, when it comes to the gospel. And in that process you have a remnant, learning this this particular doctrine, bodies or by the hand of these of these prophets, of these men who are being led by the Spirit. So ultimately it is the Spirit that's teaching, and guiding and leading, the remnant that will be saved in these last days. I just wanted to say that. But anyways, the focus of this lesson is, biblical prophecy, particularly civil war, prophecy concerning civil war, discord, civil disorder, confusion, which that's what's about to come to this place called America. And that is what is prophesied in the Bible. In fact, I wanted to bring out scripture firsthand. Let's get Isaiah chapter 19. Because the Lord have given visions to His prophets of old. And these visions was written in a book, which we call the Bible. And the Lord have given the understanding to the prophets today, to learn and to teach, this truth, this word, these scriptures correctly and right. Which it is mentioned by the Apostle Paul in the book of Corinthians. The spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. And that's called reincarnation. Reincarnation is a real thing. It's actually a system that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, created. Which reincarnation means to be back in flesh or again in flesh. So the prophets, the teachers of old that was back then, they're here today. And what they doing today, they're doing what they did back then. Ultimately in the name of Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai, a son, was born. A prince of peace was given unto us. And that's Yahweh Shai. But anyways, I want to go to the book of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." Now, when the scripture speaks about Egypt, a lot of the scriptures in the Bible are prophecies, pertaining to a modern day Egypt, which modern day Egypt is America. In the book of Revelation, chapter 11, America is known or spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. So America's modern day Egypt. Why? Because there is parallels between ancient Egypt and this modern day Egypt. And it's all symbolic, riddle in other words. But, the understanding was given, the interpretation was given. So we perceive that a lot of the scriptures that speaks about Egypt are really concerning America. In fact, what's on the back of the dollar bill? A pyramid. Even certain states here in America, came from, ancient cities or ancient names of cities of Egypt. Just giving you a couple of facts, such as Memphis. If I'm not mistaken, Memphis came from an ancient city of Egypt named Memphis. But so there's different parallels. So the Lord would use this ancient name Egypt and apply it to future kingdoms, or shall I say to a future kingdom, which is America. Just for your understanding. So when it speaks about the Egyptians, it is referring to Americans. It says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So what is this implying? This prophecy, which prophecy means to say before, this prophecy is implying a future civil war, civil discord, rivalry, insurrection, rebellion, uproar, coming to this place called America. And this is a vision that the prophet Isaiah saw, was given, and we are very well near that time, the time of this prophecy being fulfilled, and this is going to be a time of great tribulation where a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians are going to get caught up in it and die due to these different plagues and different evils, but civil war, civil discord, just overall, evil, that's what's coming, and what inspired me to do this lesson, I came across this post from this guy called Alex Jones. I'm sure a lot of you know of him. He's a top whistleblower, top so-called conspiracy theorist, which a lot of things he do speak about are factual. But he will be considered your white American conservative. But he posted, or he put together a video, what Esau would claim to be a conspiracy theory. He put together a video concerning the elites, plan to bring internment camps or concentration camps for white American conservatives. And when I first saw this video, which this is a common rumor, this is a common so-called conspiracy theory that I come across on the internet. Because, when it comes to this truth, that Esau, he set himself against the poor. And who's the poor? Is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. That's part of their plan. But, as I started thinking about it more, I was thinking about these different prophecies, such as civil war or, that goes into civil war, I was just thinking about Esau may very well be, setting himself against his own people, his fellow American, or Americans, shall I say. So, you got a lot of Edomites here in this country, a lot of Americans here in this country who believe that their government is planning something against them, planning to put them in internment camps, for being a dissident. Now, if you don't know what a dissident is, I'm going to look it up. Let's look up the word dissident. A dissident means different, at variance, disagreeing. Basically, someone who disagree with the common, disagreeing in political matters, in opinions with the government, with the authority, with the ruling class, of an opponent or non-conformist, someone who don't conform with, for example, someone who may not conform with this new world order, right? That would be considered a dissident, right? An opponent or non-conformist with regard to a prevailing opinion or method, etc. In a political sense, it is used by people in the 1940s, coinciding with the rise of totalitarian systems. And that's ultimately what's coming, a totalitarian, system. Absolute rule, and that's what Esau want to bring with his new world order. And the majority, and I ain't gonna say the majority, but a lot of Americans know that. And a lot of, I could really say the majority of Americans oppose that, oppose what Esau want to do. People are not satisfied with this government, with this rulership, with the elites. And that's the spirit that the Lord is putting on the people here in this place. So Esau, you have a common rumor amongst America, which many will claim to be a conspiracy theory. Let me just say that, you have a common so-called conspiracy theory being passed around in America concerning Esau, the elites, the rulership of this place, planning to put people in internment camps, dissidents in internment camps, concentration camps, prison camps, to the point even where, to the point where the authorities start killing these so-called dissidents, white American conservatives, conspiracy theorists, and I'm gonna play this video. Yeah, let me just play this video so, I can give you something more to lean off, in this lesson.
How are we going to really almost deprogram these people who have signed up for the cult of Trump?
This document is called FM 3 through 39.40, Internment and Resettlement Operations, and it's a comprehensive manual issued by our very own Department of the Army.
There are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republican, who somehow need to be deprogrammed.
But here's where it gets interesting. Buried within the dense military jargon and procedural detail is a framework that could, under certain circumstances, be applied domestically. Yes, you heard that right. This manual provides guidance that is adaptable to various operational environments, including potentially right here at home.
Because they've been brainwashed, Joy. I really believe that they have been brainwashed by this misinformation campaign.
So how do you de-radicalize these people? once we educate them, we coach them on how to interact and empower the person to start thinking for themselves.
I think a lot of people are going to have to be deprogrammed.
We had a program addressing white supremacists, that we had programs, federal programs, that went towards funding organizations like these that de-radicalized people. And President Trump pulled the plug.
Let's take a closer look at some of the specifics. Chapter after chapter, this document meticulously details how to set up and manage internment and resettlement facilities, how to process and transport detainees, and even how to handle medical and dental care for them. It talks about capturing, screening, and interrogating detainees and outlines the roles and responsibilities of military police units in these operations. Now, imagine these procedures not just in a foreign war zone, but on American soil. The manual doesn't explicitly state that these operations will take place within the United States, but it leaves the door wide open.
What ultimately breaks that power structure in the South is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
Over half our country needs to be reprogrammed. Not just 75 million people that voted for Trump, but the conservatives in this country.
Consider the chapter on civil support operations, which highlights the involvement of military police in civil missions, coordinating with civilian authorities. This could easily extend to domestic scenarios where the military might be called in to manage large-scale disruptions or civil unrest. We're also looking at chapters that cover the rehabilitation of detainees and the resettlement of displaced civilians. Think about that. Rehabilitation programs for detainees, resettlement operations for dislocated civilians. These are terms we associate with wartime operations in foreign lands. But here they are in a document that is perfectly applicable to situations within our own borders.
A Bernie Sanders staffer was caught on undercover camera saying that Trump voters should be sent to re-education camps.
What are we going to do with those people that resist the change? Because that's a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. In Cuba, what do they do to reactionaries?
They shot them on the beach.
I'm going to buy rooms and go through all the Republican voters and Homeland Security will put the children on. Okay. And we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
What's even more troubling is the absence of clear boundaries. The document doesn't draw a firm line to exclude domestic application. Instead, it provides a flexible framework that can be adapted to various operational environments. The ambiguity is unsettling. It's like they've crafted a comprehensive plan for internment and resettlement and left it intentionally vague enough to be implemented anywhere, including right here in the U.S.
So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
This isn't about fear-mongering. This is about being aware and vigilant. As citizens, it's our responsibility to scrutinize these documents and ask the hard questions. Why does our military have a manual for internment and resettlement operations that could be used domestically? And more importantly, under what circumstances would they deploy these procedures on American soil?
I have decided we really need camps for adults. And we need the kind of camps that you all run. I mean, really.
While other networks lie to you about
So you get the point. And a lot of white American conservatives, a lot of conspiracy theorists, which are a lot of Americans are conspiracy theorists, a lot of so-called dissidents, a lot of pro-Trump's supporters, a lot of Americans are seeing this agenda, are seeing this, plot or plan of the elites, of the government, of the rulership, and a lot of people are, just basically, growing in a spirit of, I'm against that, I'm against you, and that's the Lord influencing that. You know, that's the Lord cultivating that. You know, that rivalry spirit. You know, that division spirit. You know, which this may be one of the intents or the plans of Esau, of this government, of this rulership, of, you know, of the elites. You know, so you got this side. You know, you got another side, just growing in hatred towards one another, man. Which is ultimately going to lead to civil war, civil disorder, insurrection, uproar. You know, and that time is coming. And again, when I first came across this video, I was just thinking, you know, why is E trying to come against himself? Well, you know, it's prophecy. You know, it's prophecy at the end of the day. You know, and don't think you Jakes, you know, you Israelites are safe from this, because you are a part of it. You know, in a way, you are the main adversary or opposition to this man's new world order. You know, and not these white conservatives. It's you Jakes, man. Especially those of you who believe and know the truth. You children of light. You are, and I tell you this, amongst the very top elites, you are one of the main oppositions, man. You know, and his spirit is going to be stirred up against you as well. You know, you which they will claim you to be an extremist. You know, which this is a religion. This is a pure religion. You know, but you know, those of you who speaking against the mark of the you know who, speaking against the image of the beast, speaking against New World Order, speaking against Esau in general, you know, out of the scriptures, you know, teaching the truth, you are, you know, you are deemed to be a dissident as well, and they're going to come against you as well, right? But the point is that this is the Lord stirring it up. Now, when you go into this post, it has, you know, damn near 500,000 views. You know, even when you go into this post, this have 1 million views. You know, so a lot of Americans see this plan, this agenda of the elites, and they're going to oppose it, man. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but you're going to have a time where one people in America is going to fight against another people in America. You're going to have civil war. You're going to have insurrection. You know, you're going to have rebellions. Shalaki. I'm tripping. Forgive me. You know, a violent, that word insurrection means an act of revolt or rebellion. An organized and usually violent act of revolt or rebellion against an establishment, government, or governing authority of a nation, state, or other political entity by a group of its citizens or subjects. Also, any act of engaging in such a revolt, right? So, and that's what's coming. This is what the Lord is going to bring. This is what the Lord is influencing now, that it may build up to what is said in the scriptures. You know, because again, you got your white American conservatives, you got your pro-Trump supporters, you have your conspiracy theorists, you have your whistleblowers, you have your overall population of people who are against this place, against this government, against this against Esau's agenda, against the elite's agenda, against their schemes. There's going to come a time when this population, these citizens, are going to fight back violently You know, and you already have your white hat, you know, what they call it, white hat groups. You know, your white supremacist groups, your militant groups. You know, you already have people armed to the teeth. You know, everyone is armed. You know, people are gathering together, you know, with like minds, you know, joining forces with each other. Just like how you have, you know, Israelites that believe in this truth, that believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gathering together. You have other, you know, factions or other groups, you know, gathering together, which this is like no other. I'm not comparing, because this is by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You cloud of believers that believe in Yahweh Shai and that have the faith. This is like no other. This is a building of God. But you have other groups, other people with similar opinions gathering together, you know, joining together, conversing with one another, you know, on the internet, you know, just overall, just division in this place, you know, just overall division. And it's going to come a time when that's going to lead to civil war. I cannot say it enough. And I have this scripture on hand. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. It says, I formed, and these are the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. You know, so now evil in the sense of what? You know, misfortune, you know, war or civil war. You know, so the Lord tell you straight up that that's all in his hand. You know, that's all his creation. When there's civil war, when there's any form of war, when there's any form of armed conflict on the earth or in the country, in the state, civil war, that's all in the Lord's hands. The Lord sanctioned it. You know? And the Lord, he's determining this one or this upcoming one that's prophetic. And again, it may not happen next week, next month, or this year, but it's coming soon, man. You know, and this is not going to be no ordinary confusion, civil disorder. No, people are going to stand up and fight against another with swords. And when I say sword, I'm talking about the modern day weapon of destruction, whether it be a gun, you know, a damn assault rifle, whatever. You're going to have one people standing up and fighting against each other. You know, you're going to have men who not regard the lives of their kings and princes. You're going to have people targeting their politicians, you know, your so-called rulers, you know. And this is what's coming to this place, America. And this is what Esdras, the prophet Esdras, saw. Let's finish this. It says, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So I can say that it's the Heavenly Father causing this division here in America now. Because that's a form of evil. A city, or, well, this is not a city, but a country that is divided against itself. That's a form of evil, is it not? So the Lord created that, and he's going to continue to create that. You know, a lot of people who practice their freedom to bear arms, to have and possess weapons. You know, it's going to come a time when the Lord will put them to work. You know, the ones who oppose or who are deemed to be dissidents, shall I say. You know, because Esau, the elites, the government, this authority of this country, they're going to become draconian, harsh and severe in their laws and their measures and how they move and act and what they put in place, they're going to be more severe, you know? And it's going to be that tipping point, you know? And one can even say, this whole presidential election between Biden and Trump, that could be a step forward to that civil war, civil discord, confusion, you know, chaos that is prophesied in the scriptures. And in fact, to paint a better image of the prophecy that I'm speaking about, let's get it. Let's get the book of 2nd Esdras. Chapter 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So, you know, Esdras, when he was given the things or given these visions, you know, he's, you know, which that word woe is an expression of grief, you know, is a negative expression, an expression of grief and sorrow and destruction, you know, basically a complaint like woe, you know, or threat in a way. So he's saying woe to the world and them that dwell therein, which evils is going to come upon this earth. You're going to have your World War III, but focusing on what's about to come down upon you people in America, you're going to have many evils, man. It says, for the sword, which is the sword, you know, a gun, is symbolized war or battle or armed conflict. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. And that's what's coming, armed conflict. Not just in the world, because you will have your World War III, but also in this place called America. It says, draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another. Your civil war, your civil disorder, your race wars. You can say class wars. You know, your different forms of conflicts and chaos in this place. Which this is not only pertaining to America, you're going to have different evils in the world. Right, but this applies to, this is relevant for America as well. It says, and swords in their hands. So, you know, this is what's coming to America, man. Because I'm focusing on America in this lesson. It says, for there shall be sedition among the men. Yes, civil war. And this definitely applies to America. Now, I cannot say how big of these different chaos is going to happen in other countries, but I know it's going to be very terrible here in America. You know? For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. This is coming to America, man. Sedition, now when we go into that word sedition, is another word for insurrection. In fact, we could go into it right now. You know, rebellion, uprising, revolt, factitious, commotion in the state, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, civil or religious disorder, rioting, rebelliousness against authority. And this is what they showed in that movie called Civil War that came out this year, man. You know? And that was a total, that was definitely, shall I say, definitely a predictive programming movie. Where Esau, you know, he put out a movie and put predictive programming in it. Basically showing you something that's going to happen in reality before it happens. You know, and Esau is not stupid. The authority of this place, you know, the elites of this place, you know, they definitely are aware that this is coming. You know? They are aware of it. They see the spirit on the people. They're not stupid. They're not nonchalant. They're not careless. They definitely know that there's going to be civil war. But they don't care. You know, because you have your, they have their different depopulation agenda. You know? You know? And in order to bring forth their new world order, you know, to bring forth a world that pleaseth them, they gotta kill. So you're gonna have your martial law, you know, your civil, you're gonna have your concentration camps or internment camps, whatever you want to call it. You know, your holding places. Esau, these different troops, these different soldiers, they're gonna put people in these concentration camps. You know, and it's prophesied that this will come to pass or happen to some of the believers. That's prophesied in the book of Revelation. You know, concerning the devil throwing some of the believers into prison. You know, and it's also prophesied that there will be a persecution here in America, where a lot of you believers will be decapitated. I ain't gonna say a lot, but some of you believers are gonna be decapitated. And that's prophesied or mentioned in the book of Revelation chapter 20. For not receiving the mark of the beast, not worshiping the image, for holding fast the word, you know, being faithful unto death. And this is some of the lot of some of you believers. But fear not, the Lord is gonna give you new bodies, immortality when he come. You know? It says, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. So guns. So the image, you know, let me say this. If you watch the Civil War movie, that's very similar to what's about to come. You know, but it's gonna be reality. You know? Now, of course, on this side, in past times, you have your different protests, your riots. You know, that's nothing compared to what's about to go down in these last days. That's George Floyd thing. That's nothing, man, compared to what's about to unfold in these last days. Armed conflict between this country's authority and this country's, you know, soldiers against, you know, different factions and groups. You know? And this could very well be part of Esau's agenda to depopulate. You know? You know, Esau have his... Don't think Esau ain't gonna use his drones on you people, man. You know? Don't think the military of Esau ain't gonna use his different drones, his suicide drones. You know, that they have, this government have. You know, robot dogs. Don't think that shit ain't gonna be used upon against you militant groups that may exist, you know, during that time. You know? You know, and when these things come to pass, the elect, we're gonna be wise as serpents and harmless as a dove. You know? So we're gonna be, you know, hiding ourselves from these different evils, and the Lord is gonna protect you. You know? But let's finish this and get other scriptures. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. So you're gonna have different groups invading another side, or you know, civil war, trying to overthrow the government or the authority of this place. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Now, who's the kings and princes? Your politicians. You know? It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You know, the course of their action shall stand in their power. So whatever they are able to do, they're going to do. Whatever they want to do, they're going to do. The course of their action shall stand in their power. You know, and that's why you have Esau trying to, you know, take away people's rights to bear arms. You know? For years, for a very long time, Esau done had that agenda, you know, trying to use different methods, you know, to take away people's rights to bear arms. Or take away people's guns. You know? Esau been trying to do that before I was born, man. You know? So this man, you know, and this is what's coming, man. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because it's going to be that terrible in the cities. You know, in the populated areas, you're going to have so much chaos and conflict and death and destruction where you won't be able to enter into a city. And it may be other reasons as well. You know, maybe because these different highways and roads you have to go through in order to go into a city may be blocked by different soldiers, militaries. You know, you may need to you know, different checkpoints. You know, like how they show in these movies, man. You know, and that may have something to do with the MOTB, because the mark of the beast, which is going to be a CHIP implant, is going to be used as a digital ID as well. You know, not just for transaction. It says, for because of their pride, which we're going to have to see how that's done, you know. You know, speaking as a man, it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You know, so, and this is what Esdras was shown. You know, this book of Second Esdras, chapter 16, verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of great multitude is kindled over you. You know, and you Jakes, you believers, you know, in Israel in general, you're going to be definitely affected in these last days due to the evils, because a lot of you Jakes, especially rebellious Jakes, are going to die by the sword or die by famine. But Esau, he will come against you believers. You know, you Israelites, you know, put you in concentration camps, put you in so-called internment camps, whatever they call it, you know, FEMA camps, whatever they call it, you know. It says, and they shall take away certain you. So it's literally telling you that they're going to take away certain of you, you know, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So in every place and in the next cities, man, rebellion, insurrection, revolts. And they'll show these different types of atmospheres, you know, concerning America in these Hollywood movies. You know, such as like The Purge and again Civil War and other movies that I may not be able to name. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And it's concerning you, Jakes. Who are they that fear the Lord? Israel. So Esau, he's going to come against you. His military groups is coming against you. You poor, you that fear the Lord. Israel in general. Americans, which America don't fear the Lord. I'm talking about this really for Israel at the end of the day. I'm just speaking about the faith of people in general. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of the houses. They're going to spoil you. Plunder your stuff, take your stuff. So imagine soldiers going into people's houses, taking them captive, putting them on trucks and transporting them to whatever camp that they have nearby. Or killing people dead in their homes. Which that's martial law. Shooting people outside of their homes. Or they let you live, they just gonna take your stuff. This is what Israel saw. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Yeah, the elect in those days, during those evils, during that great tribulation, they're going to be known. It's going to be manifested who is the elect or not, who are the chosen or not. And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire, and that's going to be a time where the elect are going to be tested. But nevertheless, the elect are going to be manifested to be the chosen. Why? Because you don't have the elect being delivered, being provided for in those days. You're going to have different miracles being performed for the elect, for the saints, wherever they may be. And they're going to be a great need of deliverance. This is going to be the land of our deliverance here in America. But the elect, wherever they may be, whatever country they're in, they're going to be saved anyways. But especially you elect here, man, because you're going to definitely need that spiritual intervention. It says, hear, O ye my beloved. Who's the beloved? The elect. We are the beloved. Lord willing, I'm of that number. But the elect are the beloved of the Lord. Saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So the Lord is going to deliver his elect, those who believe in him and those who have received Yahushua and received his testimony and hold fast to it. It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide. And I was just watching a video of another brother, I forgot his name, but he was basically prophesying and teaching that, the Lord is going to perform different miracles, and do certain things for his elect. Angels coming down from the heavens, being in the midst, guiding you and helping you. That's what the Lord did for his elect. Why do you think those different history of what the saints went through are written? Is written for our learning. That's what Paul said. So all the the different things the Lord did for his for upright men and women in past time, the Lord going to do for us. Daniel in the lion's den. The things the Lord did for Daniel. The 3 holy children in a fiery oven, or whatever you want to call it. They were saved in the midst of a flame. What the Lord did for the upright men during times of famine. So different miracles, different spiritual interventions, spiritual handouts, spiritual help. Very uncommon and strange things will happen for you elect. And when I say strange, I'm talking about uncommon. See, the things that the Lord is going to do for his elect are going to far surpass people's sense of what reality is, man. You know, which what did Yahweh Shai said? Let's get it real quick. Matthew chapter 17, verse 20. It says, "And Yahweh Shai said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." So by the faith that we have, even if it's a small amount, by the faith that we have, we are able to do unrealistic, unrealistic, man, impossible, supernatural, spiritual things, man, through this faith. You know, this is what the Lord says. It says, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder. So, you know, our faith will be able to do certain things that is unrealistic, or that is beyond your sense of what reality, or what reality is, man. You know, by this faith, certain things that will happen for you elect, that is against the laws of reality. For example, when you go into the Old Testament, the Lord, brought or had a rock bring forth water. Look what the Lord did for Israel, leading us through the Red Sea upon dry ground by the hand of Moses. That's unrealistic. The Lord really split the Red Sea by the hand of Moses, man. To the point where we walked upon dry ground. Yahweh Shai, he multiplied fish and bread. That's beyond, right, people's sense of what reality is. So by this faith, we will be able to, right, when you think about saying to a mountain, remove, if you say to a mountain, a damn hill, remove from your place, and it's going to remove, that's some superpower, supernatural thing, man. Now, that's not to say that we will be able to do that. But Yahweh Shai, he just building a foundation of, or the Yahweh Shai is in the scripture, Yahweh Shai is teaching us that through this faith we will be able to do great, beyond earthly, beyond our sense of reality, things, man. Supernatural, which when you go into that word supernatural, it means beyond nature. Because on this earthly plane, you have, different laws, different natural laws. Well, through this faith, we will be able to do supernatural things, or supernatural things will be done for us, for our behalf. The scriptures tell you that, who was it? I think it was, Elijah, or the prophet Elijah or Elisha. He prayed that it rained not, and it rained not. In fact, let's get there real quick. This book of James, chapter 5, verse, I think it was Elisha, verse 7. It says Elias, and forgive me if I'm wrong, it was one of them, It says Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are. So Elijah, this prophet, he was a mortal man just as we. It says, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain. And it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought her fruit. So the point is that through this faith, that we have in Yahushua, through this faith, through this belief and trust, we're going to be able to do impossible things, or impossible things will be done for us, for our behalf. And a common thing that is being taught in the ministry is that different miracles will be happening for the elect, in these last days, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory, to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, peace and blessings unto the elect, and salute, shalom to the fellow laborers pushing his truth, and all praise and honor and glory be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, shalom.